Yo, what's going on? Mic check. You know what I'm saying? See the logo a little bit, man. See what's going on, man. Hustle Logic in the building. The one and only, you know, the founder, the CEO, man, the honcho, the HNIC, man, whatever you want to call it, man. It's the Successor. And we back in soon. What's the deal? Another episode, man. It's not really our regular forte setup, but I'm gonna call this an episode, man. Look, it really was gonna be like a little podcast, but this is another episode. Welcome back to, I almost said my old intro, man, but welcome back to Hustle Logic, man. Hustle Logic TV, man. I am your host, the Successor, back with another video for y'all today, man. Look, I want you to first like, share, comment on this video, man. Share this video with 2 to 3 different people that you know can relate to the content, man. If you've been watching me for a little while, man, appreciate you. Definitely leave a comment down below. I want to interact with y'all. Ask me some questions, man, all different types of things. But share this with somebody that just, man, they want to know some positive information. Some young men out there, some old men out there that want to be higher beings, man. Be more of yourself. That's what we're doing here with Hustle Logic, man. We are higher versions of ourselves, okay, man? Perfecting professional and personal development. Can't forget that as well, too. So what I got for y'all today, man, I don't plan on this to be a super long video, but hey, I'm going to be answering a couple of questions. I got a list full of questions that I've just been inquiring over time. And when people ask me different things, I write them down. I may not answer them immediately on a lot of these episodes and different things, but this, specific episode is just going to be dedicated to answering a couple of questions. I may do about anywhere from 3 to 5. But I can get real in depth with any one of these at any moment. So we'll just kind of see how it goes. So I got everything set up here right in front of me on my other software, my other phones and everything like that. So I'm going to be just answering some questions, man, not going too deep into personal things, but just more like that. People ask me, but I'll tie it to my success. I'll put it like that. You know, I can only speak from, you know, my results, my work ethic, but I'm also going to give other people's feedback as well, too, that I've noticed from other men that I've mentored, other men that I've been able to help, and just like other guys within my field and things like that. So we're going to get into it, man. Hopefully the glasses not reflecting too bad, man. I like the style, so I'm gonna leave the glasses on for a little bit. Might take them off, man. The ladies say that they like my eyes, so hey, we'll see. All right, so going to question number 1. All right, man, I'm just kind of gonna read it off and what this person put, and then I'll get back and give my feedback on that as well too. You know, not just a short one-word answer. I'm gonna get some substance, that's for sure. All right, so somebody said, how do I find my purpose without feeling lost? Now, how do you find your purpose without feeling lost? What you have to be willing to do, man, because I was that person and I was lost, so I thought. And I'll never forget, man, I tied to a story real quick. I was on the phone with my grandmother, and this had to be like what seemed to me at the time like peak depression. Man, like I've had low points in my life, but this is definitely one of them, man. So this was like the first time I was like really feeling the aspects of being an adult, man, responsibilities. Man, the throne just felt real heavy on a young man at the time. I might have been 18, 19 years old. I'm in college, one foot in, one foot out. I really want to work and get into something. You know, I see a couple of my friends, they getting into trades, they doing different things, man. They making money, bankrolls. I'm a young man. I'm infatuated with those kind of things, man. I'm not really thinking long term at this point in my life. So, and school had always been something that was pushed on me, and I just knew school wasn't for me. I love to learn. Don't get it twisted. I love to learn, but I just knew at that time, in that point in my life, I wasn't mature enough for school. And so this began the snowball effect, the sequence of events that led me to being and finding my purpose. So having to be at my house one day, man, I used to get up every morning, chill in my room. I had my TV, PS4 game systems all set up and everything, man. I just get up, get on the game. It was during the summer, so I was taking one summer class, so I had one class to be at every other day or something like that, or maybe twice a week. Other than that, man, like on the real, I'm waking up, I'm on the game, I'm watching TV, I'm getting high, I'm getting drunk, all types of stuff, man. So, you know, I knew I didn't really want to be like that. I knew that wasn't That wasn't who I was. That wasn't my character. Wasn't my forte. I had experienced some things previous in my life. I knew where I was currently. I was not happy with that. So to find my purpose, man, remember being on the phone with my grandmother, and she just asked me straight up, like I'm having a conversation. I'm like, Grandma, I'm just really not feeling it. Like, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I'm not happy. She asked me, well, what are you good at? And it seems like such a kind of broad question, but like I had to really think, like, what am I good at? And I never really sat down and thought about that. Like, what am I actually good at? What do I like to do, or what would I like to do? And the reason I didn't know what I like to do or what I was good at was because I hadn't tried anything. So that would be my answer right there, man. Finding your purpose without getting your feelings or feeling lost. You got to be willing to go out there and try things. You have to find what's meant for you. And it's going to be 1 out of 100 things. So don't focus on getting to that one thing. Focus on getting through the first 100 things. Because same way when, man, you talking to girls, you are getting new prospects for your business. You have to talk to maybe 10 different people, 10 different women before you find the one that's going to say, yes, I want to go out with you. The one person say, yes, I want to enroll in your business. Yes, I want to buy your first product. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. So the earlier I understood that, and hey, I just need to get through these 99 things to get to that one thing that's going to, everything is percentage ratios. When I used to do trading and I was in my business, talk to 10 customers, one person is going to get enrolled. Out of 10 enrollments, one person is actually going to become a leader. So it was just understanding that early on and knowing, hey, I have to be willing to try things. And in order to be comfortable to go out and try things, you have to understand that you are going to fail. You have to be okay with being told no. You have to be fine with people rejecting you and turning your back, people counting you out, cutting friends off, making sacrifices. It's going to require a lot. Okay, so that's not a light question, man. That's not a light question at all. And that definitely was, man, a very lengthy response. I hope that can help you out and better yourself, man. But I would start there, trying different things, seeing what you do like, what you want to get into, what drives you any other time. It might be a hobby. It might just be something you're good at, but you got to find what that is and then capitalize off that. Okay, capitalize off that. So that's that. All right, next one. How do I turn skills into income? Ooh, that's a good one. How do you turn skills into income? But it's simple, man. Charge for it. If you're good at something, never do it for free. And that's a fact, man. I'm very well at what I do, man. I've got years of training and experience. I come home, I read books. You can see the books sitting here on my desk. Trainings, videos, questions. I ask the right questions, man. So how do you turn your skills into income? You learn how to capitalize off it, monetize off of it, okay? What can you do? What are you good at? What do you bring? What kind of service, skill set, concept do you have that most people don't, or that they would like to have? Okay, who would be a consumer of what you're good at? So once you figure that out, you can know it good enough to be proficient. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because some people really want to follow somebody that's going through the stages. They want to follow somebody that's in the growth. So I'm not saying you need to master it, you have to perfect it, but you do want to be very well rounded on it, or at least getting to that point. But I would say at least be proficient, man. You could be proficient in things in honestly 40 hours. You know what I'm saying? You spend a whole week on something, coming in after your work, or 8 hours a day on something, man. By the end of the week, you'll be very proficient in that. So I would say, it's as simple as, man, putting a ticket on what it is that you're good at. Charge accordingly. Once you get your name out there, man, people know who you are and what you do, then you raise your price, man, raise your standards. But that's how I would turn my skills into, that's how I have turned my skill sets into income. I am very well rounded at what I do. You know what I'm saying? Just people want something done, it comes with a price. It's that simple. Mentorship, you want to find out how I can better coach you up, better get better results in your life, make bigger moves. It's gonna come with a price. So it's just that simple. Literally just putting a price on it, man. You can't want to have income. It's no different than Walmart. You know what I'm saying? They could give away free food, and McDonald's, places like that, they can give away free food, but all they did was put a price on it. They knew they had the best burgers in the world at the time. You know, McDonald's, when it first came around, they knew they had the best burgers. They had the assembly line. They had things figured out. They said, oh, well, look, all we got to do is put a price on this and we can capitalize off that. So they turned their skill sets, man, into income. So that's how I would do it. I would start there. All right, let's see. How do I stay consistent when I'm tired from work? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. How do I stay consistent when I'm tired from work? Look, man, how big is your goal? How big is your purpose? Staying consistent, man. That's one thing I've been very well at in my life. Consistency. Even when I may not have been giving it my all, I will admit that, but I was always consistent. I always showed up. Something that's very good about me, man. I am very consistent. I've had jobs tell me that, man. It showed up, worked well for me. People in my life tell me that all the time. I'm very consistent. I have a way that I do things, but I always show up. All right, so consistency is important. But when you're tired from work, you just got to simply put it like this. I'm not going to tell you to quit your job. I would never tell anybody that. But your goals, your business after your job, it's got to mean that much more to you. It's just that simple. Tired is an understatement. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, you might be drained, but what is tired? Like, you want to go to sleep. You're tired of doing what you're doing. You're tired of the same routine. You know, so what I would say to that, man, one, get your energy up. All right, get excited. Increase your dopamine. Okay, so that means working out, eating healthier foods, clearing brain fog. Getting rid of those things, man, and just thinking things clearly. Having a layout, having a blueprint, a plan, a vision board. You know what I'm saying? I can't see it here, but I should have really put it behind me so y'all could see. But right here next to me, I got a Bentley Continental GT. When I wake up in the morning, I got certificates of my previous accomplishments on my wall, you know, so I'm seeing, hey, man, I love when things have my name on it and I'm being congratulated for something, or this is a certificate for something. It shows growth. It shows, hey, I'm a winner, you know, and I remind myself of that. I've got pictures of all different types of cars, houses, a garage. You know, I see the layout of the type of place that I want to do, knowing that my job isn't going to help me fulfill all of that. I've got to come home and grind towards my goals. I've got to clock into my dreams, essentially. Okay, even leaving my room, I have $100 bill that says $100 million. You know, that's the plan. Okay, your job will make a good living, but investing into yourself, into your own life, will make you a fortune. That's Jim Rohn for you, man. Hey, look, and sum that up. Look, your 9 to 5, that's cool. That's going to help you fund your business. Use that as a gateway. It's a vessel to get you to the next level, okay? But you got to be willing to come home and put the work in. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you're getting that money from the job and, man, you get comfortable. Let's be real, man. You know what I'm saying? We out here getting some money, man. Look, you probably making more. You get in the right position. You probably making more money than you've ever made doing anything else. If you're finally becoming, if you're on the streets doing things like that, you finally become a legit, you know, so you feel you feel stress free from not having to look over your shoulder or wonder, man, am I gonna get got for this? Cause somebody steal this from me and try to set me up for something, you know? So when them checks coming in consistently and the money's looking right, it's easy to get comfortable. Believe me. But you have to realize, hey, this is just enough to keep me here with your goals. Is that just enough to produce for your goals? So you got to change your mindset. Your goals have to come first, and not saying put your responsibilities on the back burner, but your goals have to become a priority. You have to prioritize coming home and working your 5 to 9. Okay, you're going to go to work and work your 9 to 5, but you got to come home and work that 5 to 9 now, 5 to 10 o'clock. You got to be willing to put some hours in. If you're putting in 40 hours on your job, you should be putting in at least minimum 20 to 30 hours after work every single day for the whole week. Okay, your week should be coming out to you working about 60 hours. Again, 40 hours on your job, 35, 40 hours, whatever, but another 25 to 35 hours gotta come from producing in your business. Now, that doesn't mean you actively need to be doing something for the business, but you need to be doing something for the business. Now, what I mean by that is brainstorming, coming up with new products, new plans, new ways to launch your business. You need to be cold calling folks. You need to actually be producing. If you're doing content, you need to be up here making videos. Coming up, I took some time to put these questions in certain types of orders. Hey, I want to start with these 5 today. I might get over to these next week. Strategies, man, they win games, man. You've never seen a game won without a strategy. Okay. You've never seen a competitor compete without a strategy. I'm a big boxing fan. Recently watched Shakur Stevenson get his strategy over defeating Teofimo Lopez to be the ring champion of the world. It took strategy. Teofimo Lopez, he lost because he had no strategy. He looked lost without it. He looked tired. So strategize, man. Visuals. And like I said, the goal has to be, you have to really desire that, man. It's got to be big. It's got to be bigger than you. It's got to be something that's going to serve a bigger purpose than just for yourself. It can't be just making $100 million for yourself. What are you going to do with the money? Okay, what are you going to do with the money? You plan to take care of your family? You plan to open up businesses to produce jobs and income for other people? What do you plan on doing? You have to serve a higher purpose. All right, so that's what I would do. Whenever I'm feeling tired, man, I just think about my goals, man. I look at my vision board. I think about where I want to be versus where I'm at. I can sleep when I'm dead. Like, for real, I can sleep when I'm dead, man. That coffin gonna be cozy enough because I'm gonna have to pay for it. So, all right, what's next? How much time we into? All right, we doing pretty good on time. We get into a couple more. I might actually just finish this off. Well, how many questions was that? Like 3 or 4? All right, this next one is, how do I build something on the side without burning out? It's kind of like same with the being tired from your job. Like, it's just got to be a big enough goal without burning out. So again, increasing your dopamine, energy, clearing that brain fog, eating healthier foods, supplements, nitric oxide, get the blood flowing, help with brain flow, things like that. Just, I'm not saying you have to take supplements, but you need to definitely increase your energy. Like, if you're really feeling burnt out after your days, then you got to have a balance somewhere. Even take you a 15-minute nap if it's that serious. But feeling burnt out is more so like, you got to be okay. Man, look, I'm going to tell you this. You got to be okay with the mundane. Straightforward. Like, successful people are boring, being quite frank. But successful people have successful routines. Your routine may start to, bore you on certain days. Figure out what you can do to spice it up. All right. So if you're feeling burnt out, change up your routine a little bit. You build something on the side. Again, vision board. Look at your goals. Write them down. Say them out loud. Get you a punching bag and hit that for 30 seconds and increase your energy. 10, 20 jumping jacks, 50 jumping jacks, 15 push-ups. Do something to boost yourself back up. Increase that spurt of energy for the moment, but in a natural way, in a natural state. You can prevent yourself from being burnt out when you know exactly what it is that you want. Clarity is huge, man. I speak to this on this all the time with people. I want to have as much clarity. People they lack communication, or they have bad communication because there's no clarity. You saying all this, but it's not clear on what you went all the way around just to go down the road. So clarity will really help you from being burnt out. And it's going to make all the difference, man. You can think differently. You can start viewing the picture from outside of the frame. All right. So that's what I would do with that. We're going to skip that one. Okay, this is a good one. All right, babe, I'm going to do this one first. I'm going to do go back and do that last one. All right, so what mindset separates earners from drifters? A positive mindset. Okay, a winning mindset and an optimistic mindset. Most earners, successful beings, high earners, put it like that, successful beings, they don't really think rational. They definitely don't think small. We are out of the box thinkers. And that's why a lot of times we'll look at everybody else's squares. That's no offense, but you do see people at times that live their life inside of a box, so we call them squares. You know, it's kind of like the Matrix, man. Like, see, I got the glasses on and everything, like Neo and everything, man. Like, sometimes you look at people as outsiders because they're just like, they're so far drifted away, you know, and there's nothing that they want to do to come back. Or let me rephrase it. There's nothing that they want to do to stop being a drifter. So, all right, what mindset separates earners from drifters? You have to be willing, again, to think on a higher level. You cannot think realistically, man. You gotta, like, everything has to seem like next to impossible, but you know it's possible. You just don't know how it might happen, you know. But that's the beauty behind it, man. Like, sometimes not knowing what's gonna happen is like, you can live more free like that, you know. When you're just putting in the work, you're like, I don't know when the result's gonna, I don't know when it's gonna come, I don't know how it's gonna come, but I know it's coming. You know, when you go fishing, you may do one little thing different. You might cast a little differently. You might reel, you know, in a little bit faster. You might switch up your line. You might use a new bait. You know, you might use a brighter piece of line. You know, you might change your leader line up. You might use a heavier weight. There's so many variables when it comes to something like that. The slightest thing can make all the difference if you catch or you don't catch. Maybe this particular day was a good spot. Maybe I come back tomorrow and this spot just isn't as good. But if I went over there, I might be just a little bit luckier. You might be just a little bit luckier. So when you're becoming, let's say you are a drifter right now and you're switching over to becoming an earner, you have to know that all things are possible. Okay, know that and believe that. Now with that, know that anything you do is very much possible, okay, within your life. So if you want it, you said it. If you said it, you want it, you got to go do it. All right. Subconscious, man, saying things to yourself, instilling things to your subconscious. That's a very real thing, because the more that you think in your subconscious, speaks in your subconscious, hear these things, the more that you think about those. All right. Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings are going to determine your actions. How you act amongst other people out here in the world is really going to show us. It's going to show what your character is. All right, your character determines who you're going to be in life. That determines your destiny. So, for my earners that are out there, you know, I want y'all to drop down. Actually, what do? You know, how do you think now? There used to be a guy that I work with, and every week we had a meeting. He would just bring up all the negatives, man. He talk about what the company wasn't doing, what we used to do, and man, it used to be good this way, and we used to help people. You know, I just want to help. And he had the right, don't get me wrong, he had the right motive. He did. He was a good person. But he was a glass half empty kind of person. You know, we should be doing this for customers and we should give them that. And, you know, somebody like me, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So I'm looking at the positive things like that. Like, there's a reason we're doing this. You know, we're not doing this just because. And when it comes to certain things, man, again, when you know what you're worth, you have no problem putting a price tag on that, because you know that, hey, if I gave you this for free, man, I'll be doing myself a disservice. You know, so from a company standpoint, they're looking at it like that. You know, we're looking at it like, again, they're looking at it with the glass half full. And I can see that from having that earner mindset. So with that being said, his attitude was always more so negative because he didn't agree with certain things. But, you know, I don't want to get too much into that, but like, hey, man, it's not your company. It's not your business. You're just here to do your job. You know what I'm saying? Do what is really being told to you. But other people that are positive thinking, man, they want to go out and do this, man. They are naturally glass half full. We're more positive about things, okay? We're more excited about things. So that's one of the biggest things that I noticed between those two individuals. Those people that are drifters, they have very low attitudes, negative attitudes, low beings. While other people, the earners, we were high energy people, man, high earners. We were excited about things. We have no problem going out and doing what needs to be done because we understand there's a greater cause out there. So the earners versus the drifters, again, biggest thing is going to be your attitude, your mindset to things. How do you, when a problem occurs, are you like, man, here, not again? Or are you excited, like, let's go, another problem, another opportunity for me to solve and be a solutionist? That's how I look at things. I love being a problem solver. I love when there are problems, whether it's at my job, whether it's here with my business, whether it's with this content, whether it's with a mentee. I love problems because I love, if you bring a problem to me, that means that you're counting on me to solve it. And I love the feeling of solving things, man. It's like, that's reassuring my confidence. You know what I'm saying? If I can figure this out, then the next problem that occurs, I have more ammo and more knowledge now to figure the next thing out. It might be an ego thing, whatever, but it keeps me in a positive frame. Okay, so people that don't think like that, like I said, those are the drifters. I rarely see those people that move and think like that and have attitudes like that are high level beings. So yeah, that's the mindset that separates people. Positive and negative mindset, man. Glass half full, glass half empty. You know, when you wake up in the morning, something bad happens immediately. I had to happen the other day, man. First thing in the morning, like, but I knew the rest of the day was gonna be good. I'm like, all right, cool, let's get this one bad thing out the way. The rest of the day should be great. And I had a magnificent day. But if my attitude had been different, like, oh, here we go, man, it's a Monday. Something always going on Mondays, man. It's always a problem. Like everything following that would have just been all bad. Perception. All right, man, that's everything as well, too. So hopefully that answers that question for y'all pretty well. All right, man, and lastly, let's get in. Let me see if I like this question. How do I stop living paycheck to paycheck mentally? It's a good question. It's a great question. How do you stop living paycheck to paycheck mentally? Well, you know, first thing you got to do, man, to stop living paycheck to paycheck mentally and financially, you got to cut the vices. What has got you in a hole? What has got your money in a hole? All right. What are you constantly paying out towards? You know, your overhead might just be a little too much. You need to cut back on some things. If you're spending money on shopping, going out to the bar, fast food, eating out, you know, you need to switch up. You got to switch up. All right. You are a slave. You're a victim to spending money on food, spending money on going out, just carelessly doing things. All right. So living paycheck to paycheck, man, is most people live like that, man. It almost seems comfortable or like it's supposed to be that way. But no, man, in all actuality, you don't have to live like that. There are some days I get paid, man, I forget that it was payday, you know, and that took a lot of stress off my body. And I used to have really bad financial issues years ago when I was early on in my 20s, you know, but I couldn't keep living like that, man. I'm telling you, man, it'd be so stressful. A little bit of money that you get, you know, it's got to go out to something. And so take the glasses off of that, man. I'm telling you, man, that was real stressful. You can change everything by writing it down first. All right, what is your overhead? Okay, what does your life and your expenses look like? All right, some people, man, you're trying to maintain something that ain't really there. Other people, you have money and you have extra money at the end of the month. You just don't know where it's going. So you're not keeping track of it. You need to first write down. Actually, take your debit card history. All right, most people using your debit cards anyway, one card. Go ahead and get your debit card history. Write down everything that you spent money on that was not a necessity. All right, so that means everything that was just an expense. Gas, I'll say gas station runs because I actually add my gas, what I spend on gas, into my budget. But miscellaneous things, man, eating out, spending money on clothes, food, trips, all that type of stuff, man. If you didn't save for it, you just swiped your card for it, you need to write that down. Then I want you to take that and compare that to your bills, your necessities. What does it take to live your life on a month-to-month basis? All right, if you're getting paid every 2 weeks, every week, every month, you need to set that up. All right. If you worked a flat, like base paycheck, like 32 hours or like 40 hours on the dot with no commissions added on, what would your paycheck look like? Can you survive paycheck to your next paycheck with just that little bit of money? So no bonuses, no Christmas add-ons, no overtime, like eliminate all that. That's what I did first, man. I started living on less, basically. I started living on less first. Put down all my bills and my necessity. How much do I need to bring in, period, just to pay the bills and keep the lights on? You know what I'm saying? So once I had that figured out, all right, cool, there's X amount of dollars. How much am I bringing in? Okay, cool. I got a few, $100 left over at the end of the month. So somebody like me, I had a little bit more. So I'm like, but damn, I ain't never saving no money at the end of the month. Now we go back up to these expenses. I'm spending all this money on just eating out, buying lunch, going out with my friends, which kind of tied back into, at the time, I'm making some of the most money I had ever made. It's coming consistently. I ain't got to do nothing there. I just got to show up, man, and be myself, man. So it's easy to get. It was easy. It was easy, at the time. So you get comfortable, but change that. Get uncomfortable again. You gotta cross that out. Set a financial goal for yourself. 10,000, 20,000. Do you want to start putting money in a Roth IRA? Do you want to start putting money in the stocks and having some money to invest with? Save up your first 500. When you start setting goals for yourself and you start actually seeing the money grow, okay? Start seeing the money grow. Oh my God, it's the greatest feeling ever. You start creating that snowball effect. 500 turns to 1,000, 1,000 turns to 2,000, 2,000 turns into, and so forth. All right. But let's take a step back before you can even get there. Next thing I would do is put all my bills on auto pay and don't even worry about it. Man, I hate seeing the amount of money I'm supposed to get, and then the money, you gotta like 400 for this over here, 250 for this over here, $150 over here, 1,000 for this, 1,200 for that. Like, oh man, but when it just automatically gets netted out immediately and I don't even have to think about it, I already see what I'm left with. Okay, bet. So this chunk of change right here is what I'm left with for the rest of these 2 weeks or rest of the month, whatever. And then I take that and I'll distribute that. Okay, this is going to go into my personal savings. This is going to go towards paying off the car note a little bit faster. This is going to go towards me getting some clothes, upgrading the drip. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going back into investing to the business. Figure out what you're doing with your money. You have to see where every dollar is going. All right. And the next thing you want to do to really get out the loop, though, is now you have to start taking the money that you have left over and making it work for yourself. You have to get you some passive or residual income. All right. Because it's impossible to go out and work 6, 7 and bring in 6, 7 different streams of income. All right. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. The average minority millionaire got about 10. All right. So if you're a minority, a little bit harder. But let's just stick with 7 for right now. The average millionaire having 7, which is probably going to change, over time, taxes and things like that. So they might need 8. But they're not out there clocking in to 8 different jobs, not going from this job to this job and clock in and clock out. No. Most of them, they have their business, their job, whatever, that brings them in on a base pay. They know how to leverage the money that they're making and put it into other businesses. All right. So you might have other things going on or other streams going on within your niche. All right. Within your habitat, essentially. So knowing that means you're not going out getting 7 different jobs. You're finding ways with your one business that you have, how you can bring in multiple different streams of income. So for example, with what I have going on in my digital product business, not only do I make money off of mentorship, but I make money off of products. Not only do I make money off of products, I make money off of consultations. Not only do I make money off of consultations, but I'm working on getting paid through the streaming platforms, super chats. The list can go on. So within this one stream hustle logic, this one business, I have multiple different ways that I can make money doing events. So there's so many different things that I can do within this one business. Same for your job. There are things where they'll give you bonuses for this. Refer somebody, you can, so you have to find ways where you can make more money within your own job, but still taking that money and putting it into, honestly, my recommendation, ETFs and then the stock market. All right. So I'm not going to get too deep into that exactly, but high yield savings accounts, man, CDs, like I said, investments, ETFs preferably, those are going to basically put your money on autopilot. All right. Remember, we're not thinking about today. We're looking to make a fortune in life. Okay, man, doing those things early as possible, man. If I had known this information at 18, I could probably retire at 40. You know what I'm saying? The goal is 50. I'm speaking into his existence. But understanding and knowing that, man, I'm thankful that I do know what I do at this age, because, man, I see people every single day that did not properly stack and save their money, and it ruined them. They're living on fixed incomes now when they know they can't go out there and get no job. They know they ain't got no money to put into no investments. So do it sooner rather than later. Even if it's just $10 a week, $20 a week, $20 a week for 52 weeks. Well, at the end of the year, you got about $2,000. Save up for a whole year and take that money and invest it into the stocks, invest it into a high yield savings, get you a CD, or do it again. You know what I'm saying? Save up another $2,000. Now you got $4,000. I'm telling you, when you start stacking up this money, man, you start having more to play with. Get into it. You can take more risks. You can be a little bit riskier. You can be a little more lenient. You can just do a little bit more. You can be a little more comfortable. You can get laid off from your job and know that things are going to be okay. You can, in case you get sick or you get hurt. Tomorrow's not promised. You want to have a little change stashed away. What if your job isn't open anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, anything can happen. It's just like taking precautions. It's not really a rainy day fund because, any day it could rain, man. You don't want to just go to have that one little stash. Get you multiple stash. Keep you some cash. Keep some money in your bank account. I wouldn't keep more than 3 to 6 months worth of savings in a bank account. Anything past that, you need to get you a high yields or some sort of CD, something building interest. Again, we're looking for our money to work for us and make money. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, man. That's my financial literacy course that I'm working on, man. I'm talking about that as well too. But I will drop some financial literacy for y'all on these videos in the upcoming future. But this video, I don't want to get too deep into that, man. You know what I'm saying? I start talking and getting into things that people are paying for, so I want to do that to them. But that covers, man, all of the questions right now. But, man, really solid questions. I got a bunch more, and keep dropping more, man. Keep asking me different things. I'm a very versatile individual. All right, I got my hand, my mind, and a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? I've always desired to be that kind of person where we can have any kind of conversation, man. That's why I bind so well with so many different people, man. I'm a chameleon out here. So, hey, it is what it is, though. At the end of the day, man, I hope that was able to shine some light, some guidance for y'all, man. Look, I even took the shades off. That's how serious it got. All right, man, look, you're live in tune with the Successor here with Hustle Logic, man. Another episode. I hope this was able to give you some clarity, man. Like I said, I'm always looking to bring clarity, man, peace, knowledge, nothing but positivity, man. High energy, high level thinking, man. That's what we got going on over here. So, hey, if you got more questions, please drop them down below. DM me. I'm around, man, and I ain't going nowhere no time soon, man. So keep messing with your boy. I ain't gonna cuss on this one. Keep messing with your boy, man. Hey, live in tune with the Successor, man. Hustle now, a successor later. We out, man. Peace. Appreciate y'all, boys.